Who, me?
Before you hit the dislike button, please watch the whole video. Please watch the whole video. I'm going to explain myself. You can't just look at the title and dislike, okay? If you do that, you're a dumb person.
Well, I mean, you're wrong. You can look at a title and decide if you like it or not. I looked at the title of this one and it says, Why Has Been Hotel Isn't Great, and then right in the thumbnail it says, Very Bad. By looking at this alone, I can deduce that you're already going to sit there and say any negative thing you can about Has Been Hotel. True or not, if someone likes it, they're probably going to disagree, which means they're already not going to like the video. We're only about maybe 3 minutes into the video and already you've proven yourself not able to understand how this stuff works. Good job.
Has Been Hotel is a much hyped internet series created by Vivzy Pop, who has 1.5 million subscribers. I watched the entire thing a few times, and boy, do I have some words to say. Long story short, I was not impressed. Let's take a look. Has Been Hotel begins with a very nice intro song, and the visuals during this song really build the setting for Has Been Hotel. It sets up the art style, it sets up the world. The intro is actually quite good, and I really like it. I'm already immersed by the time the song is done.
Oh, I'm alive! I'm alive!
Just to be unimmersed faster than literally anything else I've ever watched with the most cliche children's cartoon joke. A character survives something dangerous, celebrates surviving, and is then made not alive. That's not the only joke of this type.
I'm sorry, I missed the part where stuff dying in kids' cartoons was considered cliche. You do know that means it happens a good amount, right? Like, it's similar to a trope, but not exact.
After that, we learn that this guy has just sold himself, if you know what I mean, to this character. And then the same joke we literally just saw happens 2 more times.
Ouch! Ooh, such an insult. Let me know when you come up with something creative to call me, you sack of poorly packaged horse shit. Tell the missus I said hi. Schnuckum, back up.
The guy's car goes and crashes. He's presumed not alive.
That was not the joke, was not him dying, it was just the reckless driving. They're in hell, they cannot die, they're already dead. You make this point later on in this video, so you clearly understand how that works. You don't die when you're dead. There's an event that erases people. Come on.
Then he goes over and gets some angel dust. Someone takes it. And then literally the exact same joke. Gets smashed by a boulder and is committed not alive.
That is also not the joke there. As you're about to see, the joke isn't that he's dead, it's the fact that a boulder just crushed someone and this guy's more concerned about the drugs that got destroyed in the process. Again, they're in hell, they cannot die. That will not be the joke, or at least for a while. It's done a few times, maybe, but it's not the main joke when physical harm is done. Nor has that ever been the case in any TV show. There's usually some other joke there besides just this character is dead.
Oh my god! My drugs!
See what I mean?
Funny joke, oh my god. Drugs, oh my god. We had the exact same joke literally 3 times in a row there, in the span of less than a minute. It was like a span of 30 seconds. 3 different characters met their untimely fate as a joke. That was the same joke 3 times in a row.
Dude, even by your own standards, you can't say 3 times in a row because you've already admitted that last joke was about the drugs, not the death. And the other one before that was more about the car accident itself than the death. There's no way to presume he's dead, especially since, once again, they're in hell, they're already dead, they cannot die again.
Has Been Hotel is absolutely riddled with juvenile humor that you'd expect in a cartoon made for children.
Okay, people, for the sake of what's going to happen later, remember this point here, okay? Remember it.
Which would normally be fine, except this show is an adult show with adult humor.
Has Been Hotel is absolutely riddled with juvenile humor that you'd expect in a cartoon made for children.
Never mind, you didn't have to remember that long. I remember that he fucked up his point. I did not remember that he did it so early on. One more time, let's hear that.
Adult show with adult humor. Has-Been Hotel is absolutely riddled with juvenile humor that you'd expect in a cartoon made for children.
Do I even need to point out why these two things don't work together? On one hand, you're saying these are adult jokes. On the other hand, you're saying it's juvenile jokes. Which one is it, my friend?
Specifically aimed at older audiences, as the description of the video itself says. This juxtaposition of juvenile humor and adult humor in the same cartoon is frankly just uncomfortable. It feels like the show doesn't know what it wants to be. I thought Family Guy and The Simpsons were juvenile in their humor, but Has-Been Hotel feels like a straight-up carbon copy of a Nickelodeon cartoon in terms of humor, with adult jokes wedged between incredibly juvenile jokes. And even the adult jokes are juvenile.
Thanks for the fun time, hot stuff.
Yeah, listen. Keep this discreet, you hear me? I can't let it get out I'm offering my services to randos on the street. It was a quick cash grab. You got it?
Whatever you say, slut.
Oh my god! My drugs!
Looks like they're fighting tooth and nail for that hot spot.
And I'd sure like to nail her hot spot.
You are a lip dick jackass, Tom. Or should I say, no dick.
Daddy.
The adult jokes fall behind even Family Guy in terms of how juvenile the jokes are. And Family Guy is as basic and face value as it gets when it comes to adult humor. I don't like the humor. You may think it's hilarious, but if adults are really watching this and getting a laugh, that explains a lot about this community and the way it handles drama and controversy on the internet, which is in a very juvenile and childish way.
Sorry about that. I let that play a little bit longer than I probably should have had. I wanted him to keep digging his hole. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to jump a little bit further into the video, but you'll understand what I mean. I'll see you in a minute.
Homophobic joke alert! Homophobic joke! Illegal homophobic joke! Twitter's gonna be like, yeah,
I turned the volume down on that one a little bit for you. I'll try later on, but please know that there are about two other moments. There are two moments in this video. This one, which is a little bit later, and one other one. So, if you have earbuds or headphones in, this is my warning to be on the lookout for those. But, to the point, you're sitting there talking about how this show is juvenile and simple and all that, and yet you have jokes like that. You're sitting there talking about how it's stupid how adults can get to their humor out of the idea of drugs and all that, and the sirens is your joke. Buddy, I don't care if you think something's not funny. You clearly don't understand humor. I compare you to a dry sock on a dry rock kind of humor. You are the joke. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. Do not tell other people what they're allowed to find funny, please.
There's no depth to the jokes. It feels like Vivzy Pop, or whoever wrote this, had the goal of squeezing as many bad words and inappropriate concepts in as possible, without taking the time to write it out in a more tactful and more adult way. Adult jokes are supposed to be clever. It's supposed to require a little bit of brain power, a little bit of thinking to understand the joke. But the adult jokes in Has-Been Hotel just aren't clever.
Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. I was unaware that you were the one who gets to decide what defines and what makes up an adult joke. Are you kidding me right now? Again, you do not get to tell people what does and does not make adult humor. You do not get to define what kid humor is. You do not get to define what juvenile humor is. Have I made myself clear, good sir? And as far as they have to be thoughtful, I'll give you a joke here. Why does Mrs. Claus not have any kids? Because Santa only comes down chimneys. It doesn't take a lot of brain power to think about it, and it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it's not clever, but it is adult humor. Again, don't tell people what they can and can't take as certain types of humor.
It reminds me a lot of 13-year-olds when they learn what is for the first time and the jokes they make about it. That's the level of adult humor in Has-Been Hotel. Now,
I promise I'm going to stop using that from now on, but God, the hypocrism is it's just great there, can't you agree?
next, a spaceship-type vehicle is shown destroying the city. We're taken inside the ship and introduced to this way overacted voice-acting mess.
Those other cowardly sinners dare not hinder my territorial takeover. A wise decision. The power of my machines are unmatched. No other demon can compare to the likes of I.
Whoever did the voice acting for this character overacted the lines so much to the point where it's, for lack of a better word, cringy and frankly painful to watch and listen to.
He's an energetic snake demon. What else is he supposed to sound like? I know you want your character to sit there and stare at the TV and talk like this, but for the majority of people, that just ain't gonna cut it. You need some pizzazz. You need some style. You need something to pop. You need something to wow. And this character, quite frankly, does it. He's one of my favorite characters in this show, and I love it. It might be part of the reason why they're getting a TV show. Yeah, when you say it's not good, apparently it's not good enough to get its own TV show. Oh, wait.
Also, just a little side note, but if you're someone who invalidates my entire review just because I called something cringy, then you're a dumbass.
No, darling, not you. I wouldn't invalidate your entire critique based on that. I'm invalidating it because you're a complete retard.
This type of overacting and voice acting is common among cartoons designed for young children. But this is a cartoon designed for adults. Mind you, I'm not trying to say that adults can't enjoy things made for children. I live near Disney World and I go all the time, almost every day, and I love it. But Disney World knows how to properly cater towards all ages. There's always something there for everyone. But Has-Been Hotel does it the exact wrong way. If you watch for the adult humor, you have to suffer through the juvenile nature of everything else in the show. If you watch because it's a cartoon and you're 12 years old, you will definitely enjoy the juvenile nature of the show, but the adult jokes will not only confuse you, but will scar you for life, because children shouldn't be exposed to the level of adult humor that exists in Has-Been Hotel.
Mate, have you seen the stuff they show on kid shows nowadays? This is not that bad. And kids have YouTube and stuff like that. 12-year-olds have been watching animes forever. Have you seen the type of stuff that they show in those? Those get dark. I would suggest you looking up Dead Man Wonderland. I saw that when I was 12, and that's way worse than anything Has-Been Hotel has, will, and ever would show. So, unless you can show me something on that level that 12-year-olds are seeing, that I can prove that 12-year-olds are already seeing over there, yeah, shove it.
And I'm not saying that that's any fault of the creators, but I find it so strange that a show geared towards older audiences is just so immature in nature, to the point where if this was shown on Nickelodeon in a family's home, and the parent isn't paying attention too much, they probably wouldn't realize it's any different from any other cartoon on Nickelodeon, in terms of how it sounds at least, with the thousands of sound effects, overacted voice acting, and simple face value basic humor. After some time, we're introduced to yet another new character who breaks through the glass, threatening to smash this guy's ship. Then it cuts to a news report where we are introduced to 2 more characters. So we're 5 minutes in, including the title sequence, and we've already been introduced to 5 characters. That's way too much. That's way too many characters for that period of time.
Really, I find it quite common. Look at Family Guy, you get Peter, Lois, Meg, Stewie, Brian, Chris. American Dad, you get Stan, Francine, Haley, Steve, Roger, Klaus. The Simpsons, you get clearly all the Simpsons characters, including Santa's Little Helper. Winnie the Pooh also does the same thing, where you get a bunch of characters right on the first episode. Yeah, just any TV show, the first episode, you get about at least 5 to 8 characters. That's not new. You need more than 2 characters per episode in order to make something happen.
In this news report, we have some lovely adult humor.
Looks like they're fighting tooth and nail for that hotspot.
And I'd sure like to nail her hot spot.
You are a lipstick jackass, Tom. Or should I say, no doubt.
I'm laughing and crying. That was so funny. Oh my god.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way to eat your skin.
Literally, like, a 12-year-old wrote this, is what it seems like. Next!
Okay, I promise. The last time I do this, but I have to. Too much of a hypocritism moment here. Are you ready?
Next, we're introduced to another 2 characters. We are now 5 minutes and 48 seconds in, and we've been introduced to 7 characters. Homophobic joke alert! Homophobic joke! Illegal homophobic joke! There's gonna be a
You see, and there's the 5th time we might have only done this joke one time. I could have sworn I remember too, but cut me some slack. I recorded this like 2 months ago, and I'm now finally actually getting around to reacting to it. Now, you might notice that there is a huge jump here. It's because, yes, I find you to be an idiot, but at least for the next 3 minutes, you do make what I could call reasonably good arguments. You actually defend you took the craziness that the internet was giving towards the show for no reason other than just to hate it, and you proved why it was wrong. So, thank you for that. And for those of you who are saying, I'm only doing this because I want him to defend the show, and if you critique the show, I'm against it. No, I've seen reasonable critiques for this show. This happens to just not be one of them. You're allowed to dislike the show, and I will not call you an idiot. I've showed you 3-4 different times where this guy was just completely hypocritical. So I'm going off point. So did he, so let's continue on.
Back and focused, okay? So Charlie, who is this girl, goes on to explain on the news that she wants to end the extermination, which from what we can infer is a government procedure similar to the Purge or Hunger Games, a nasty tradition in the government of hell where Has-Been Hotel takes place to control the population. She plans to end the extermination by opening a hotel where sinners, the citizens of hell, can redeem themselves to escape hell.
I mean, that's not too far off, except the whole Hunger Games and the Purge sort of thing. We don't know exactly how it works. For all we know, Satan just comes down and goes, you know what? You have to go, you have to go, you have to go. And he just goes around just slaughtering people until he's done. So it could be simple like that, just like Satan just killing off whoever he wants. So it could be completely different. It could be the same. We don't know yet. Again, this was only the pilot, and I wouldn't even call it a pilot, more of a concept sort of thing. This is what's supposed to get her foot into the door for an actual TV show, which it did. Congratulations, Fizzy Pop. Let's go on.
I have a dream. I'm here to tell about a wonderful, fantastic new hotel.
And then she sings a song. For some reason. There goes any interest I had left in the show.
It's a fucking musical, you fucking nitwit. What were you expecting?
Overused trope alert! Overused trope alert!
Damn it, dude. Way to sneak that one in. I knew there was 2. I just couldn't remember where it was. Again, it's not a trope, you fucking ignoramus. Yes, I'm not saying the word right, but I'm very frustrated with you right now. It's a musical. That's like saying, how dare you use the trope of people dying in a horror movie. That's like saying, how dare you use the trope of romance in a romance movie.
Sings and puts on an absolutely huge performance all about her idea, and then at the end of the performance, what does everyone do? First, we have a juvenile joke.
Dude, seriously, what the hell did my eardrums do to you? I just noticed the hell of a boss demon right there. God damn it, Fizzy Pop, you got me again.
Wow! That was shit.
Methinks the demon agrees with my idea of your review.
And then everyone starts laughing. Literally one of the most overused tropes in video history, whether it's films, TV shows, etc. A character explains a grand plan or ambition they have, or a character puts on a huge performance. Here it's a combination of the two, and at the end everyone laughs at them. The concept of the show is great so far. The idea of a civilization in hell and someone creating a hotel to rehabilitate people out of it is a really interesting concept that has a lot of potential. But with all the overused tropes and themes, it feels like I'm watching literally any other cartoon on Nickelodeon or whatever. The concept is unique, but the execution is very cookie cutter with a few adult jokes thrown in here and there, you know, and lots of bad words. It's disappointing because I really do think the concept for the series has a great potential, but it seems like the writers try to make it feel like every other cartoon that already exists, without doing anything unique to set it apart from anything else. I think that will ultimately hurt it in the long run.
I mean, as I said earlier, this thing that you're saying is failing. It's getting its own TV show. There's that. So it's already doing better than you predicted. And 2, are you expecting a TV show to be completely out of not have any cliches, because that's almost impossible at this point.
Charlie explains that this guy is actually the first patron of the Has-Been Hotel, and we learned that his name is Angel Dust. Remember him from the beginning of the episode? And as Charlie's explaining this, word comes into the news station in the form of a breaking news report that Angel Dust has been spotted as a player in the ongoing conflict between Spaceship Guy and Crazy Woman. Angel Dust explains how he ended up at the Has-Been Hotel, and then literally out of nowhere, this happens.
Oh, harder, Daddy!
This happens literally out of nowhere, and there's absolutely no explanation as to why it happened.
Okay, you guys ready for this? Here comes the full joke, just so you understand why I'm getting on this guy so much about this. Are you ready? Here we go.
Oh, harder, Daddy! Son?
I couldn't help but notice an additional punchline at the end of there, buddy. You wouldn't happen to have clipped that out for the sake of being dishonest now, would you?
Now, sometimes random humor that happens out of nowhere can be funny, but in this example, as with many other examples of humor in this show, it seems like the writers just thought that being inappropriate for absolutely no reason at all, being inappropriate for the sake of being inappropriate, out of literally nowhere, they thought it was funny for some reason. This reminds me a lot of Lele Pons level humor. Just random stuff happening for no reason and expecting people to laugh. Random equals funny, you know?
Do you have a problem with random humor now, buddy?
The three players in this ongoing battle end up all confronting each other. And you guessed it, the first thing that happens is an inappropriate gay joke.
Is your hat, like, alive or something?
Oh, well, that's none of your mad business. Now is it?
Who is your audience to the point where you can't even allow cuss words in your videos? Like, seriously, there's plenty of YouTube videos that have cuss words that are still monetizable. So what is it about your audience specifically that makes it so you cannot have cuss words? And does it maybe point out to the fact that maybe you shouldn't be reviewing this show in the first place, which shows, given the quality?
Would that make your hat the top and you the bottom?
Whose humor comes only from the fact that it's inappropriate and gay. This is followed by yet another not straight joke. I can't keep saying the actual word or YouTube might demonetize me.
Yes, because as we all know, YouTube just hates the word gay.
I'm going to blow you to bits!
Kinky.
Oh, that's never not funny.
Also, right after that, the Roblox oof can be heard for some reason. Then, as the brawling escalates between all parties, the scene ends with yet another classic trope, showing all parties head-to-head with each other.
Okay, you keep saying tropes. I'm yet to see any actual examples of any other shows that actually do this trope. If you can at least name 10, I might be willing to believe you, and the reason why it's 10 and so many is because, again, for a trope, it has to be common. It can't just be one that one or two other shows have done.
After that, we ride along in a limo with Angel Dust, Charlie, and Charlie's girlfriend, whose name is Vaggie. And in this scene, Vaggie scolds Angel Dust, and there's excessive use of the F word. I think the writers wrote that in because they want you to remember this is an adult show, so they can say the F word, right? It doesn't add anything at all. It's just kind of said randomly, not used for emphasis, just kind of thrown around because adult show, right? That's a huge pet peeve of mine with any video media, whether it's movies, TV shows, is the excessive use of the F word just to be edgy and adult, when it adds no value being there. It's okay when it contributes to the overall picture of the whole show, but when it's just unnecessary, it's just, you come off as trying to be edgy for the sake of being edgy.
Okay, you pointed this out earlier with the fact that they're in hell, they're bad people, that's what they are. Would it not be too far of a stretch to say that people in hell would do a lot of cussing? Even, yes, I'm giving you the idea that they do use the F-bomb more than they should, but even if that's so, again, they're in hell. It only makes sense.
When they arrive in the hotel, it appears completely run down and abandoned. No new souls have shown up to be rehabilitated, and the writers missed out on a great opportunity for character development. Angel Dust says this joke:
It's probably a good idea to get some actual food in this place. You know, to feed all the wayward souls you got in here.
Right here, where he pauses and walks away. What if he kept walking towards Charlie to comfort her? Show a softer side that he doesn't show publicly. I think the writers missed a great opportunity to make Angel Dust a non-one-dimensional character, but no, they had to make him basic AF and one-dimensional AF. Just an a-hole constantly.
Yes, normally my face would go here, but I wanted you to take a look at this image. This is what Angel Dust looks like in that moment. Within this face, you can see several expressions. Remorse for what he said, disgust, sadness. He feels compassion. He feels bad for what has happened, and he wants Charlie's hotel to succeed. He wants to comfort her, but that's not who he is. So he walks away. I know in your mind you have to go full one way or the other, but again, that would be a one-dimensional character. To suddenly go from asshole, as the rest of this is shown, to completely compassionate would be ridiculous. So we get this middle ground here. This could transition into something more, but you cannot make it forced.
There's a knock at the door of the hotel, and when the door is opened, we are introduced to yet another new character. This one has a weird radio voice for some reason.
Because he is the radio demon. He is the master of the radio. It's part of how he podcasts. This is what he does in hell. That's also what he did in life as well. He was a radio host who at one point in time went and killed a bunch of people and broadcasted on the radio.
Alistair, pleasure to be meeting you, sweetheart. Quite a pleasure. Excuse my sudden visit, but I saw your fiasco on the picture show.
He is a radio host, but it is an interesting idea, but honestly, after a few lines, it's just annoying to listen to.
Really? Because as I pointed out later on in this video, and as I'm going to point out now, at least 90% of the people think Alistair sounds really cool and really like his concept.
It's more difficult to understand what he's saying with that effect on than anyone else, especially with the pretty loud background music that's playing.
Well then, buddy, you're in a boat of your own.
Vaggie then tells the story of the radio guy and how he's actually an evil person who shouldn't be trusted, very similar to how everyone who replied to my tweet asking what Has Been Hotel was saying that Vivzy Pop is an evil person. Both this girl and the people trying to say that Vivzy Pop is evil are equally annoying. Just shut the fuck up.
Now I'd love to throw these fucking hands, boys.
Conversations are had, things are said between characters for a while, and then literally, unprovoked, out of nowhere, this happens.
And what can you do, my effeminate fellow?
I can suck your dick.
That didn't happen out of nowhere. I literally saw it coming as I was watching the show the first time. You said you'd seen this multiple times, so you should understand the setup was he was going around asking people their talents. And that's what they gave to Angel Dust, to imply that he can't do anything.
Ha! No.
For some reason, people on Twitter found this to be hilarious. It's not funny. This is the epitome of trying too hard to be funny, literally.
Are you the one saying that? Because that's some real pot meat kettle shit right there.
Just more 12-year-old level dirty humor that happens out of nowhere. Of the people. Is a randomness supposed to make it funny? Does random equal funny?
Yes. Randomness is a part of humor. There is a sub-genre of humor that is randomness. So yes, random does equal funny. Yes.
Apparently people think that this joke is also...
And just like you, those people are wrong.
But yeah, Angel Dust is a crazy person who's obsessed with adult activity. It is a stereotype.
Okay, he is more than one thing, so you can't just say, yes, it is a stereotype of, and then put whatever quality you just happen to see of Angel Dust on it. Because if that's the case, then we can say he's a porn star, therefore it's a quality of porn stars. We could take the gay factor right out of it right then and there, and it makes more sense than he's gay, therefore.
Right? TV guy.
He is a radio host. TV guy.
He is a radio host.
Sorry, that one was way too easy to point out. And sorry for the outfit change. I had stuff I had to get done, so we'll continue this here. Hopefully I can get the video out tonight.
Then summons some hotel staff from somewhere.
He has demonic powers. Of course he'd be able to summon other creatures, especially in hell.
The first girl he summons cleans everything, and then the second guy says the F word about 30 times because, remember, we are watching an adult show, and we must not forget it.
I'm not going to play the clip again this time, just because after about 7 times it gets kind of bland. But you must remember the most entertaining thing you've had in this so far has been trigger warnings, basically. Just you playing a loud siren and yelling something people aren't going to like is on the way. That's been the the apex of your comedy.
You have a dream. You wish to tell.
Then there's another song for some reason.
It's a musical, my friend. Again, why do you not get this? You should expect to see music in musicals.
Spaceship guy tries to attack the hotel, radio guy stops him with his insane levels of power, and then what other way to end the episode than with yet another overused trope of all the characters who've teamed up walking into the sunset, except it's a hotel rather than the sunset. And you guessed it, there's a post-credits scene with yet another overused trope. The enemy who is defeated hasn't really been defeated.
No, if I had to guess, this guy's probably actually done for the most part. I mean, he's not going to be a serious threat. I think that was kind of the point. Have him look big at the beginning, just have Alastor crush him at the end. It's a way to show how powerful Alastor is. It's common and you wouldn't be wrong to say it's a trope, but it's not the trope that you think it is. It's kind of a way to show how a new character is so much more above everyone else that it doesn't matter kind of stuff.
Oh my god, who could have guessed? Oh. Overall, Has-Been Hotel sucks and I hate it.
That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid.
I'm not really kidding. I actually don't like it, but that's...
Has-Been Hotel, the pilot at least was great for being what it was. Remember, this is only a rough idea of what they want the show to be. This could change, the sound effects and all that can change. So when you're giving a review like this, it's best to let people both know, one, it is only a basic idea pilot, not an actual pilot. I know it says it is, but in all reality it isn't. This is going to be the first episode to play on the TV show, hopefully. Two, a lot of stuff's going to change as well when they finally do get to that point. So when you sit there and act like this is the apex of what it's going to be, you turn people off. It's part of the reason why I'm doing this review. You're sitting there taking something that could be amazing and you're shutting it down before it even gets its foot in the door. It's... I'm not going to say it's evil, because it's not, but it's borderline narcissistic of you to sit there and say, I don't like it, therefore it's not good. Again, you pointed out earlier that the like to dislike ratio was going more towards the like. I think it was like 90%. So obviously a majority of people like this show. You could call that overrated, but honestly, if all you're going to say is stuff that I don't like that other people like is just overrated, then you don't get how reviewing works, to be honest.
That was too mean. Let's take a look at objective things first, okay? Objectively, the animation is great. Notice how I haven't said anything about the animation. When something is good, there's not much to say about it. Now, I am not invested in the knowledge of technical animation, but I'm representing the interests of the common viewer. And to me, a common viewer, the animation...
Mate, I've already pointed out how you don't know bumpkins about what the average viewer wants. 90% of the people who watch this like it. So if you're speaking on behalf of the average viewer, then you are doing it wrong.
Animation looks great. It looks fine. I didn't really have anything to complain about in terms of the animation. I'm sure if you are an animation student or you do animation, you might have some things to say, you might have some criticisms, but it looked fine to me. It looked okay to me. The art is very high quality, but the art style is a thing that I have a little bit of an issue with. Not much. I do like the style that the characters are drawn in. I think that's a very nice style, abstract style. It's pretty neat looking. Reminds me a lot of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. The only thing is that a lot of the colors are the same. There's so much red, and I know that you are in hell, right? But it's like everything is red. It's difficult sometimes to distinguish what is even a character and what isn't a character. It's just a very busy art style. There's so much going on. It's very difficult to focus on one thing that's happening. The designs of the characters are very unique and interesting, but many of them are also over-designed. They go past the point of being unique to the point where it's just difficult to look at, because your eyes don't know what to focus on. There's too many details.
A good number of people actually enjoy that about stuff like this. When there's so much details, and there's always some funny background thing that you can notice, or something cool that you can notice, or Easter egg or something. So a good number of people actually appreciate a lot of details. I understand if you don't, but that's not objective, that would be subjective.
So now that we've said that, let's move on to my opinion. Woo!
I love how half the objective things came with one subjective thing and one thing that could be considered objective, but even that, it's subjective itself, because most people wouldn't consider the Hazbin Hotel the best animation style, depending on how and what level that you're expecting.
Ooh, if this were an animation meme, it would get 40 out of 20. But this is not an animation meme. It's an actual adult show, so it's held to a much higher standard than animation memes.
Yes, you're right, but again, as I pointed out a bit ago, it is not a full-fledged, actually released show yet. This is just a basic idea pilot, so it should be held to less of a standard than an actual TV show. Do you understand how this works, my friend?
God. Another huge problem that I have is that the show tries way too hard to be funny. The jokes are so shallow, so face value. They're just thrown in randomly. It's like they're just trying so hard to be funny, and it just comes off as really uncomfortable.
That's exactly how I felt this whole time watching your video. You have no idea how many times I've had to rewatch it just to keep editing.
It's like watching a 12-year-old do a stand-up act at a school talent show. It's just trying way too hard to be funny, to the point where it's not funny, you know? But people who are 12-year-olds. Because I cannot see any adult watching this and thinking that it's funny. But it wouldn't surprise me, because many adults in the art and animation community act like 12-year-olds. So,
well, albeit for me, usually I would do the whole video, but honestly, that last one kind of broke the camel's back. I hope you understand what I mean. This whole, good amount of the time he was in there saying adults can enjoy this type of humor if they wanted, and then he came out and said, I can't imagine an adult enjoying this type of humor. Unlike me, he had a script. He knew what he was going to say, and he had it all. The number of contradictions he has in it alone are embarrassing. I didn't do the whole video as well. There are parts that I had to clip out. One, because I think he made a few good points here and there, and other just because I cannot with you, dude. It's just not completely possible. Also, I'm going to try and get a few videos out. I don't want to leave you guys hanging for like 2 weeks again, so I got one scheduled for this week. This one should be coming out today, and I'll try to get Itachi versus Saitama out somewhere in between. Whatever else I can do within the next week or so. This will be Kinrock out. I will see you all later. Goodbye.